Welcome to Gentle Stretch Yoga. Everyone take a comfortable seat. Your ankles are crossed in front of you easily, sitting on maybe a bolster like I am to raise your hips up, make yourself more comfortable. We'll start with a brief lesson, then we'll go into our meditation or body scan, followed by our asanas or posing, and then a little resting and more meditation with our Savasana at the end. So today's lesson, we're going to continue on breathing. We talked about that a little bit before. But breathing, when you breathe slowly and through the abdomen, you slow the breath down. And that stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system. And that releases the neurotransmitter acetylcholine, which basically lets the breath slow even more, dilates the blood vessels, so the heart can slow down and pump more blood, but slowly through the system. And to stimulate that parasympathetic nervous system, the easiest way is to breathe through your abdomen. So if you're ever stressed during the day, you might try putting your hand on your abdomen and breathing. So we'll do that with our 4 counts in, hold 2 counts, and exhale for a few breaths. Ready, inhale to count of 4. Feeling your belly extend, holding, and then releasing to a count of 6. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Again. Exhale. Hold. And exhale. A few more. On your own count. And one more. So remember, anytime you'd like to relax during the day, try a little belly breathing, maybe putting your hand on your stomach so you can make sure you're breathing with your diaphragm, letting your diaphragm expand to bring air into your lungs. So we'll get into our body scan by moving into our position forward onto your hands and knees, crossing your ankles behind you, and then rolling back onto your seat, extending your legs in front, and rolling one vertebrae at a time onto your back. Keep your hands at your sides, palms face up or face down. Let your feet fall out, stretching your legs out to the full extent they can. Wiggling your shoulder blades till you find a comfortable position. And then breathe just naturally. Not holding your breath, but simply letting your breath flow in and flow out. Letting your belly rise and fall with each breath. And take your consciousness and extend it to your feet. Wiggle your toes. And then relax the toes. And relax the soles of the feet. And the ankles. Feel the outside of the ankles pressing onto the mat.
And feel your calf muscles resting on the mat. Relax your shins. Let your knees fall outward. Kneecaps are relaxed. And breathe. Relax your thighs. Relax your fingers. Feel the little cushion of air in your palms. Feel another little cushion of air underneath your back, your lower back where it arches. Feel your sacrum, the bottom, very bottom part of your spine, resting flat on the mat. Relax your hips. Relax your wrists. And relax your forearms. And breathe. Relax your mid-back. Relax your elbows. And relax your biceps and your triceps. Letting them just melt into the mat. Relax your shoulders. And breathe. Relax your upper back. Let it feel supported by the mat. All your chest muscles are relaxed. Your chest and abdomen rise to breathe in and fall to breathe out. Relax your neck. Feel the back of your head resting on the mat. Relax the top of your head. And breathe. Relax your eyebrows and your cheeks. Let your tongue rest in the open part of your mouth. And breathe. Now start to let your breath come a little deeper, extending your belly up a little more. And your chest. Inhale. And exhale. And wiggle your toes and your fingers. Roll your head from one side to the other. And slowly draw your soles of your feet into your hips, knees in the air. Roll to one side to a fetal position. And then with your top palm pressed into the mat, come back up to a comfortable seat. You can again sit on your bolster or blanket if you like. And we'll begin our asanas very simply with your hands on your knees, face up or face down. Your spine is erect coming out of the bowl of your pelvis. Neck is in line with your spine. Head is just relaxed on top of your neck. Inhale, raising your shoulders up. Exhale, back and down. Inhale. Exhale, back and down. Once more. And exhale. Inhale, and then exhale, dropping your chin to your chest. And begin a slow circle in one direction. Inhaling as you raise your head to the rear. Exhaling as it comes forward. Don't worry about all the little creaks and cracks you hear in your neck. It's just the muscles releasing around the joints, releasing the synovial fluid. And then come to a center and drop again in reverse direction. Timing movement with your breath. And come to center. This time with the spine, keeping it in a line with the neck. We'll just try a little bit of rotation of the spine out of the pelvis. Just small circles in one direction. Again, doing the same. Inhaling to the rear, exhaling as you come forward. And just a very slow warm up of the hips and spine. And then come to center. And try it in the opposite direction. And then again, come to center. Extend your fingertips to the edges of the mat, and lean over one side, dropping the elbow towards the mat. And breathe. Feeling that stretch in the torso. 5 breaths here. Extend the stretch if you like with each exhale. And then inhale, come back to center and drop to the opposite side. Opposite arm overhead. Relax the shoulders and breathe. Extend on the exhale if you like. And then on the inhale, come back to center. And place one hand on the opposite knee. Look around to the side. Other palm on the floor behind you. Keeping your spine erect. But twist and breathe. Twisting the upper back. Keeping the spine erect. And then release, come back to center. Opposite hand on opposite knee. Twist in the opposite direction. On an exhale, you can extend the twist a little more. And release, come back to center. Maybe your neck was a little involved in that movement, so let's just work that around in a circle to take any of the tension out of the neck. And come to a stop and go in the opposite direction. And come to center, breathe, inhale, raising the shoulders. Exhale, backing down, twice more. Last time. And then push yourself forward onto all fours, into a tabletop position. Move anything you may have been sitting on. Placing your knees under your hips, hands under your shoulders, fingers are splayed wide, lightly gripping the mat. Tops of the feet resting on the mat. And drop back into child's pose. Exhale. Inhale, come back up. Exhale to child's pose. Inhale, come back up. Just warming up the body. Once more. And come back up to center. Now begin slight circle with your torso, shifting your weight. One hand to the other, then knee to knee. Just small 2-inch circle. And then you can make the circle bigger if you like. Dropping all the way back into child's pose. Exhaling as you come back. Inhale as you come forward. Then make the circle smaller. Coming back to that 2-inch circle. And then relax. And try it in the opposite direction. Small circles at first. Larger ones if you like. Exhaling as you come back. Inhaling as you come forward. And then making the circles smaller. And coming to a tabletop. This time, put your knees out a little wider and let your feet touch together behind you. And drop back into a child's pose with your knees outward. Hands. Exhale to the opposite side. And breathe. And then on the inhale, come back to center. Your hands underneath your shoulders. Push back up to child's pose. Bring your knees in so they're under your hips again. And drop back, child's pose, and come on up. Twice more. Once more. And hold in this position. Now bring your left knee 2 inches in towards your center line. Extend the right leg behind you, toes are curled. And push back with your hands to stretch the calf muscle. And breathe. If you like, you can rock back and forward. Now raise that right leg, cross it over the left. Drop the toes to the mat and twist to look over your left shoulder to your right toes. And breathe. And then inhale, bring the leg back to center and join it one knee to the other. Extend the opposite. Leg, toes are curled, pushing back with your hands to stretch the calf muscle. And breathe. And then relax and raise that left leg, bring it over across the right. Drop it down to the ground. Look over your right shoulder to your left toes. And breathe. See if you can twist a little more on each exhale.
And then inhale, bring that leg back to center. Join that knee to the other. Drop back to child's pose. Inhale back up to tabletop. Now for our balance, extend the right leg again. Toes are curled. And raise that leg off the ground. You can point your toes. If you can, extend the opposite arm in front of you. And breathe. Drop either arm or leg anytime you like. And everybody bring the hand down and the knee down. Extend the opposite leg. Toes are curled. Then raise that leg and point the toes. Extend the opposite arm if you like, or keep it on the mat. Drop either the knee or the arm whenever you like. Just breathe. And then come back to center with both knee and hand. Dropping back to child's pose. And coming back up to tabletop. Then bring one knee a little bit in towards the center line and the other hand in towards the center line. Extend the opposite hand overhead. And then thread the needle. Dropping that shoulder to the ground. And breathe. Feel the stretch in your lower back and hips as well as your shoulder. Inhale, come back up to tabletop and raise the opposite arm. And then thread the needle in, bringing your shoulder down to the mat. You can extend the opposite hand if you like. And just relax that shoulder that's on the mat. And then inhale, come back up to tabletop. Dropping back to child's pose. And then back up to tabletop. And dropping down onto your forearms, keeping your hips in the air. Into a puppy dog position. And you can extend your arms if you like. Dropping your head towards the mat, hips are in the air. Letting your shoulder blades come in towards each other. And then inhale, walk your hands back under your shoulders, back up to tabletop. And dropping back to child's pose. And then coming back up. And then rest your hips on your heels into a seated warrior position. If you like, you can use a block or a blanket underneath your hips. Raise them up a little bit. Your spine is erect. And your head is in line with your spine. Let's try a little twist to the side in the seated warrior. Leaning to one side, bringing the other arm overhead. And coming back to center, trying it on the opposite side. Back to center. Come out anytime you like into a tabletop. We'll all come to tabletop. This time, curl your toes under as you come back to the seated warrior.
This is called fire toes, so if it's too much, come back to tabletop or take a few breaths here.
And go back to tabletop. Tap your tops of your feet on the mat. This time raise up your hips above your knees. And placing your hands on your hips, laying back. Head is looking towards the ceiling. This is the camel pose. You can drop your hands towards your ankles if you like, or keep them on your hips. Extending your back up, not collapsing it. And breathe. And drop one side to the other. Getting a little twist in with the stretch. Again, hands on your hips. And then raise up and come back into a tabletop position. Now cross your ankles behind you and come back to a seated position. Extend your legs in front. We'll begin our forward folds with our knees slightly bent, feet are flexed. Inhale, we'll inhale again, and then forward fold and hold. Holding your thighs, shins, ankles, or toes. If you have your knees bent, you can get a little more stretch in your lower back, which is working for. And release, come back up. Bring the right knee into the chest. Cross with the opposite arm, opposite palm behind you. Extend that leg. Bring the other knee into your chest. Grasp with the opposite arm. Hand behind you on the mat. And twist. And breathe. And then release, come back to center. Extend that leg to join the other. Point and flex your toes. Then move your legs into a wide V position. Placing one hand inside the same leg. Look to the opposite direction. Raising the other hand overhead.
and twist towards that knee. You can bend the knee slightly to increase the twist in the lower back. And breathe. And then inhale, come back to center and move to the opposite side. Looking up toward the ceiling, hand overhead. Keeping both hips on the ground. Bending the knee to extend the lower back stretch. And release, come back to center. And draw the knees in towards the center line. Exhale, tilt. Inhale again. Exhale, fold over. And then release. One vertebrae at a time onto your back. Roll onto one side, bending the top knee. Grasping it with the top arm to stretch the quad muscle. Dropping that top knee down towards the bottom knee. And breathe. And extend that leg, and then roll over to the opposite side. Bending the top knee. Grasping the ankle with the top arm. And dropping that knee to join the lower knee. And breathe. And then release that leg and roll onto your back. Drawing the soles of your feet in towards your hips, knees in the air. Walk your soles of your feet to the edges of the mat. Arms in a T position, and drop the knees to the right and the left in the windshield wiper. Exhaling as they drop, inhaling as they come back up. And release, come to center. Put the right ankle over the left knee. And drop your feet to the right, knees to the right, looking over your left shoulder. And breathe. And letting your back relax. And inhale, come back to center. Reach through to grasp the thigh and pull the thigh in towards the chest. Maybe rock side to side. Find a sweet spot where the stretch feels the best. And breathe. If you feel any tension in your knee, flex your feet. And then release that foot down to the ground. Uncross your knees, walk them to the edges of the mat, arms in a T position, windshield wiper. And release, come to center. Place the left ankle on the right knee, dropping your knees to the left, looking over the right shoulder. And breathe. Letting the lower back release. And come back to center. Reach through your grasp your thigh and pull it towards your chest. And hold in the reclining pigeon. And then release, dropping both feet to the mat, windshield wiper. And come to center and walk your heels in towards your hips, towards your fingertips. And push up into a bridge. Exhale, come back down. Inhale, push up. Exhale, down. Again. This time, hold in the up position and push up a little bit higher and breathe. And come back down. And come back up again. This time, move your hips to the right and to the left, to the right and left. Again, continue. Once more. And then back down. Bring your knees into your chest and rock side to side. Resting the soles of your feet on the mat. If you have a block or a bolster or even a blanket, take that and raise your hips and place it under your sacrum, the very lower part of your back, where the vertebrae are all fused together naturally. And then bring your knees into your chest for supported inversion. You can leave them here, or you can extend your legs to the ceiling, adjusting the block to make it comfortable. And breathe here. If you have a strap, you could bring it over your feet. It's not necessary. Just concentrating on relaxing and breathing. If you have a strap, remove it. Let your legs or your knees, if they're bent, fall to the open position. And bring them back up. Drop them. Inhale back to center. Once more. And then rotate your ankles. Knees can be bent or straight. Everybody bring your knees into your chest. Hug them. And then extend your legs along the mat into a supported fish. Adjusting whatever you have underneath your hips to make it more comfortable or extend the stretch. Hands are at your side and breathe, letting your hips open. And walk your shoulder blades in towards each other to open your chest a little more. And breathe. And walk your feet back in towards your hips, knees in the air. Push up to remove any block or bolster or blanket. Lower your hips to the ground. Extend your soles of the feet to the edges of your mat and drop again into windshield viper. Arms in a T position. This time leave them over to one side and look over the opposite shoulder. And then inhale back to center, drop to the other side, look over the opposite shoulder. We're getting ready for our Savasana. And we'll bring them back to center. Draw both knees in towards your chest. Extend one leg along the mat and relax it. Pull on the other knee. And breathe. And pull both knees in towards your chest. Then extend the opposite leg. Relax that leg. Just pull on the knee in towards your chest. And relax. Pull both knees into your chest. Letting your knees fall to the outsides. Maybe raising your feet to the ceiling, to a happy baby. Feet. Breathe. Just rock side to side. Come to center. Extend the legs along the mat. Entering Savasana or corpse pose to relax. Palms are at your sides, face up or face down. Legs are extended, feet are falling outward. Take the time to make yourself comfortable if you like. putting a blanket over your legs. This is a relaxation pose. Your breathing is normal, not counting your breath, just relaxing. And I'll bring us out of Savasana after a few minutes of relaxation. Begin to breathe a little deeper, expanding your chest and diaphragm to bring more air in. Wiggle your toes and your fingers. Rock your head from side to side. And draw your soles of your feet into your hips, knees in the air. And roll into a fetal position. And when you're ready, place your top palm on the mat and push yourself into a comfortable seat. Sitting on the bolster or blanket if you prefer. Spine is erect, neck in line with the spine, hands are on your knees. And breathe, shoulders raised up. Exhale back and down. Once more. So for today's lesson, we learned about breathing and using that to
stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system, which slows the heart, expands the blood vessels, and causes that relaxation feeling. And the way you slow the breath is by using abdominal breathing or pushing out to inhale. So remember, you can try that anytime you need a little break. Try a little abdominal breathing and stimulate your parasympathetic nervous system. Now hands and fingertips to your sides. Inhale, raise your arms overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. In bowing, I invite peace into your heart, that it may fill you with warmth and joy, and that you may share it with others around you. I invite the greeting, Namaste. Thank you for sharing your practice with me today.